Imagine starting in a new country with barely a dollar and going on to build an empire that would redefine shopping worldwide. That's Frank Lowy's story, the man behind Westfield, one of the most iconic shopping center brands. Frank Lowy was born in 1930 in Czechoslovakia. His early life was filled with unimaginable challenges as he and his family fled from Nazi persecution during World War II. As Jews, they were forced to hide in Hungary, only to face even more tragedy when Frank's father was captured and killed by the Nazis. Frank, only a teenager, was left to navigate the hardships of war and survive without his father's support. These tough years taught him resilience, self-reliance, and courage, qualities that would shape his future. After the war, Lowy set out on a new path, eventually emigrating to Australia in 1952. He arrived with limited English skills, no formal education, and little money. Life wasn't easy. He took on any work he could find, from dishwashing to factory jobs, just to make ends meet. But Frank wasn't deterred by the struggles of his early years in Australia. Instead, he was inspired by a vision of doing more. In 1953, he opened a small delicatessen in Sydney's suburbs. A humble start, but one that showed him the potential in retail. In 1959, Frank met John Saunders, a fellow immigrant with big dreams. Together, they founded Westfield Development Corporation and opened their first shopping center in a suburban area of Sydney. This was new ground. At the time, shopping centers weren't common in Australia, but Frank believed they could create destinations where people did more than shop. He focused on making Westfield a place for community connection, with cinemas, food courts, and social spaces that would keep people coming back. The journey was far from easy. Lowy navigated numerous challenges along the way: economic downturns, intense competition, and the rise of e-commerce. Each time, he adapted rather than back down. During recessions, Lowy focused on a sustainable growth, and when online shopping started taking over, he saw it as an opportunity. By incorporating digital technology into Westfield centers, he offered unique in-person experiences that kept customers engaged. By 2018, Westfield was a global brand, with centers in Australia, the US, and the UK. That year, Frank made the decision to sell Westfield for $15.7 billion, marking the culmination of a visionary journey. Frank Lowy's story isn't just about business success. It's about resilience, adaptation, and believing in a vision even when faced with hardships. He showed the world that where you start doesn't define where you'll go, and that with enough courage and a willingness to adapt, you can build something truly extraordinary.